Um, all right. Good afternoon and welcome back to ICFI Solution to Web Development Bootcamp. And today I will continue from where we stopped in the last class. So, which is our portfolio projects. So let me quickly share my screen and let's go through what we have for today. So we'll start with the mobile responsiveness. So going to the portfolio here. So I assume we can all see my screen. All right, so going to the portfolio here, we have the landing page and the good stops, as you can see here. All right, so next thing is to target this all view on mobile. So if I try to resize my screen, and as you can see, this thing looks so ugly on mobile device. So, and as a professional developer, we have to build a solution for both screens, for both mobile and desktop screens. So first thing we'll be targeting is the navigation bar, and going to the design, we have this in the navigation bar, as you can see. All the links on the here, so it can't appear on mobile device because it will cause overflow on the x-axis. So which is what we want to prevent. So now let's do this and let's resize to a certain point, as you can see. So this is where I stopped in the last class. And I said we will be using this hamburger icon. So when we click it, it's going to contain all these links at the top. So let's go back to our code. So the idea behind this is to have a hamburger icon that is going to be displayed none on desktop device. And when we reach mobile device, it's going to appear. And we're going to implement JavaScript to handle the clicking functionality. Okay. So now let's go to the portfolio. Then what I will do is, okay, so in last class I said we are targeting this screen 700px. So this we are saying when the screen reaches 700px or lesser. So if I go back here, so and I resize, as you can see, 700px or lesser. So this screen, this is 698, 699, as you can see, the 700px or lesser, we want to handle the mobile responsive. So first thing is we want to make all this navbar, we want to collapse it together, as we all see on websites. So on mobile device websites, we notice we all see all these icons here, so that when we click it, something appears by the side and it's going to slide in. So that's what we want to achieve now. Okay, so we said we want to start the mobile screen. Now let's go back to the links we are hiding. So what we do is first let's increase the font size of this bar icon. So mobile click button is inside the header. So I will go back at the top. So enter. So it does mobile click button. So first let me introduce the cursor of pointer. Then I want to select the I element which is inside. So I want to increase the font size so it will appear bigger by 1.2 rem. Let me reload. As you can see, so it's got bigger. So we can also increase to 1.5. 1.5. So and it's a cursor of pointer, as you can see the cursor changes. Now let's collapse the navbar. So what we are going to do is, we all know that we created a link, so which is going to be like the container wrapping all the links on the navigation bar, as you can see. So the idea is to get this class name .navlinks. So what we want to do is we want to redesign it, we want to restyle it. So now let's go back here. So when it is 700px or lesser, we want to select this .navlinks. So first thing is we are going to realign everything inside. So, and I'm going to use a property called positioning. So positioning in CSS is also very useful. By default, all HTML elements has a position static. So what the position gives us is it makes us to override the defaults, the contents of the HTML page, like some styling. So the layout that is going to be, when we created the header, we created Ibrahim, this logo, we created this next. So they are all stacking on top of each other. But when we add position, when we override the position, it's not going to work like stacking on each other again. So it's going to be another thing on its own. So let's see this in action. So we have position static, position fixed, position absolute, and relative. But here we want to fix it. So we'll be using position fixed. When you use position fixed or position absolute, it's going to be in position relative to the parent element. We will see some examples when we are working with it. But for here, let's just stick to position fixed. Let's save it. And let's see what's going on. As you can see here, this thing is now overriding. Like I said, it won't be stacking. By default, display flex is going to create like a space. As you can see, all works are stacking on it. So now let's override it. And when we use position fix, so we want to override the height 100 viewport heights. So we want to change the width. Let's say 300 px. And when we do positioning, we have access to this property left, top, right, 0. So we can do we want to move away from left, right, top, or bottom. So what I'm going to do is, since we want it on the right side, you want it on the right or the left, so we say right, move it from the right 0, then move it from the top, then 0. Let's see something. As you can see something. So for now, let's see what's going on. Let's give it a background of black. See what's going on with that. As you can see, so we have this little thing going stacking there. So now we know that this another list is spawning a display flex. So we can just change the flex. We can say UL flex direction should be column, and justify content should be center. As you can see, we have this thing here, and say justify content center. Then let's select the link and let's change their color to white and see what's going on. Color should be what? Should be white. As you can see there. So we can just use the download resume. So let's push it down. So we can do justify items. Oops. Okay, online items should be okay. Justify online. That should be online. Justify items. Okay. Justify item should be center. Online content center. See, we should be able to achieve this with display flex first selection column and justify items. Let's do align items. Starting. Justify contents. Okay, I can see why this is not working. The links is having a height 100 viewports, but the unordered list, as you can see, this is where the height reaches. If I click on it, as you can see, so we're going to do, let's see this together. If I do height should be 100%, as you can see now. So it's now our justify content is now working. All right, so now let's do height 100%, justify content center. Height 100%, justify content should be what? Center. All right, so we have that. So now we can just change the, as you can see here. So this kind of approach we needed. All right. So let's give it okay. Let's give it a display. Let's change the background. Don't let us mess with the background. It should be white. It should be white. Yes. It should be white. Then okay, that isn't specified from our design, so we can just leave it as hashtag 123 000. All right. Stay in the call. I'm recording. Okay. So now let's go to the portfolio again. So we achieved this. Then, so let me just collapse. As you can see, we all this, but we want to remove this on desktop device. So now let's target what's the class name? Mobile click btn. So we want to make it visible. We want to make it visible only on mobile, right? So this will be display of none on mobile device. On mobile device, that screen will go off. 700px, it will, by default, it will be display none. Then the mobile click btn into F. So by default also, it's also display none. So we have two things to hide elements. We have display none, visibility hidden. So the only difference between visibility and display is that visibility will make it disappear, but it will still take content. It will still take the area. So let's see difference here now. So when I added display none, as you can see, the element has a display of none. So and it's not taking any space in the page again. So if I do Ctrl+Shift+I, as you can see, so now when we reach here, as you can see, so this is called responsiveness, as you can see here. So we want to make that icon go back to display block. So we just say mobile click btn. So when we reach that 700px or lower, like here now, so we are going down to mobile screen and want to make that button visible. That's what we used to call the side. So let me just say this is our aside. I can write this and comment this. So we want to bring this out. So what we do is do this mobile click btn, and we want to say display should be what? Should be block again. So we want to make it visible on the page again. So when I Ctrl S, Ctrl R, why is it not showing? So let's see what's going on. Okay, so now let's debug what's going on. So when I click mobile btn, as you can see, display is none by default. So this display is not affecting. Why is it not affecting? Because when we start it here, we nest it. So let me just do zoom in. So we nest this inside header, then dot mobile click btn. So what I'm going to do to fix this is I'm going to next this again. So it's called specificity. So header, and we just wrap it here. So that's having higher styling than that one. So I just restyle it like I styled it before. Now let's save this. As you can see now, it's now showing up display block. So basically we have responsiveness on that navigation bar. So now let's move up. As you can see, the side by side too, we're having too much spacing. So recall that in our main, we added a margin generally to the section of the page. So if I scroll up to the main section, main, as we can see, where did I put it? Okay, this is the main. We have margin inline, we have margin inline. So what we are going to restart this also. On mobile screen, we don't want too much spaces. So when we reach 700px or lesser, so we want to say main again. We say margin inline. Margin inline. So we want to decrease this to 1 rem. 1 rem is 16px. Wow, as you can see, we've decreased that. Let's see so I think that's perfect. Let's say 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. So the next thing we want to work on responsive is here. As you can see, when we reach mobile device, the IME, then this thing stack down. So we can achieve this. It comes really handy while doing this because we learn about display flex and we can break it. We can break flex items. So let's see how we can do this. So this is a display flex here. What you can do is you can do this property flex wrap. Should all still remember that. So now let's go back to where we have it in the content, in the DOM. In the DOM. Okay. We have nav links. We have section arrow. Then we have we have dot socials. So we're going to say a dot socials, then break into 2. Right? So dot socials. Control F dot socials, as you can see. Wait, do we have any other thing bearing socials here? Oh my god. So it's going to affect the rest because we are doing same class name. So what I can do is we can do our utility class name and say socials. I can write socials underscore hero. So like you said, so this is having 2 class name. I can select anyone and start with it. So I say dot social hero, Control S, Control S. Then I will go back to our responsiveness section and I'll say dot social, and I'll say flex wrap should always wrap. So wrapping. Why is it not wrapping? So now let's debug again. So let's over here. All right, as you can see, we have social hero. Social hero. Then using display of flex, we have this flex. We have the second item flex. Our second item flex. Social heroes. Okay, main, then dot socials. So I think we have to do this twice also. Socials. Okay, let's do this directly. Let's see. Display flex. Let me add one more styling in. Okay, display flex. So let's do flex wrap. Let's add some flex wrap here. Main socials flex wrap wrap. Okay. The socials. All right, so sorry for the little break. So the thing is, we want to wrap this. Let's see why it's not working. So let's put it directly here and say flex wrap. Flex wrap. Wrap. Then wrap. I see no wrapping. Let's study this section. Boundar flex. Okay. So like we said, we can see flex wrap isn't working as expected. So let me do flex direction. Flex direction should be column. So with this, we can, I think why flex wrap is not working is because we did justify content. So let's go back to the style. Justify content because align item center. So since we know what we can do, I can just go back here and say dot social hero mean dot social hero and say flex direction should be column. Want to change this to column, and we can do column gap. So column gap is going to be column is going to take, by default it's going to take the gap we said before. But let's just leave this commented now, so we can always change this. So we can say align items should be stats. So flex stats. It's not going to the center again, right? So let me just delete this. So and say flex, as you can see here. So now we can edit the gap by using column gap, right? You know, we have row gap and column gap. We talked about it. We can do column gap. Column gap should be let's see what we have. We have 15px. I have 1.3 rem. Okay, that's not working. Let's increase it here. Let's say 3. Start row. First direction, align items. Let's do gap first. Gap. Then rem is working. 3 rem. So let's do gap 3 rem. So what we can do is say column gap is working. So let's say gap 3 rpm. We increase the gap there. So I'm going to toggle my flex. So like the idea is this is basically some helper stuff, console, checking the console and trying to manipulate it, because with this we can edit something, we can edit the style on our page, and if something is going wrong we can always debug it also. So and then basically we are done with that section, hero section. We are done with the hero section. Okay, so now moving on to this section, what's it called? Selected work. So I want to introduce, okay, we talked about, in the last class, I talked about the object fits and setting the image width to 100%. Sorry, object fit. Okay, object fit is not a valid property. Object fit should be cover, sorry. So let me search it, objects. So what I want you to do with this object fit is just select one of your images and give it a specific width, like in pixel and height in pixel. You will see that it's going to affect how the quality of the image looks like, how it renders on the page. It's called the aspect ratio. So to fix that, we are going to set object fit to be cover. Sorry, I meant contain. It should be cover. Why direct center first time? So it should be cover. So it makes it centered. Like the content of the image will be, the aspect ratio will be balanced on the width and the what and the height. So basically, that's what it does. And I'm going to give us one trick in grid here to fix responsiveness, one line responsiveness in grid. So where we set grid template column repeat to FR, so there's actually a property we can do here. I comment that out. You can say grid template columns repeats. So we say auto fit. Auto fit is going to adjust everything to fit the available content. It's going to expand the content. Like if you have, for example, you have two images. Let's see how it looks like. Auto fit. Then min max, minimum, maximum. It's called min max. Then say one rem spacing, then 250px. Okay, so let's select the grid. Fit, auto fit, min max. I think we made a mistake here. Grid template columns, auto fit, min max. Let's go back to our code. Sorry, so let's see what we're missing. So we need grid template columns. We say repeat. Let me just go back here and see why it's not working. So we say repeat, auto fits, minimum and maximum. Okay, I think we need to set our pixels value first. So we want it to be in this range, 250px, let's say 300px, then comma, then one rem. I talked about the rem in previous class. Rem is for spacing. Okay, repeat, auto fit, min max. Let's save and see. See why it's not working. Repeat. So let's see why it's not working. Let's revise this. Grid, template columns. We said repeat auto fits. Then we added comma and say minimum and maximum is min max. Min max will be like a function. Say 200px. Let's use 300px, 300px, then comma 1 fr units. Let's save. All right, so we have that working, showing up there. So I think 300px is too big. So let's do 200px for the images. All right. So can give me a break. Let me. Okay. So as you can see here, isn't that nice? As you can see how it looks responsive. When I go here, then it automatically adjusts in one line. So that's the function. So let me revise how we implement this. So we said grid template columns repeat auto fit. So it's going to automatically fit. It's going to stretch all the images to fit it. As you can see, when I'm resizing, it's stretching to fit the available size. It's going to take minimum width of 200 px. So it's going to be changing. So minimum and maximum width will be 200 px. So let's increase this to 250. As you can see here, as you can see at this point, the image starts stacking on top of each other. I think 250 px is okay. So this one FR is just for the spacing unit. So that's what grid uses for spacing. Just know this as your, let's say, as gap. So it's actually for spacing. So let me save this. By the way, we wrote 300 px here. Okay, let's reload. 300 px is actually okay for us. I think that's too big. That's too big. So let's do 250. 250 is okay. All right. So let's save that. So now moving on to another section, we have this section. So we are done with this. The about me section. So and the about me section we follow kind of same approach like that. So we say dot about me. So let's check the style we are using for about me. The about me section, currently we are sticking to the display flex. So we can override this with flex direction with flex wrap. Or this we see our flex wrap isn't working here. So flex wrap is wrapping. So this is what we are going to use to override it and put it down. Then just adjust the gap. All right. So now let's do this. So we say dot about me. Control F dot about. Select the meaning. So we are going to put dot about. So as you can see, so I'm going to say flex wrap. Flex wrap should always wrap. I will increase my gap to what we have here. Into 3 rem. We should create a variable for that instead of rewriting. As you can see, we have this going up. That's actually nice. Then let's see the portfolio design. Let's see what's happening. As you can see, this image is taking the width available. So when it wraps, oops, when it wraps, should we make it what if the image quality is being boost? I think this is actually okay for us for mobile device. Okay, so that's actually okay for that section. So moving on, we have this testimonial. It looks very ugly. So let's check the style we are using for that previously. So I'm going to testimonial section and we used we used grid. So we can actually copy the same styling we use for that in the what's it called selected work section. So we can say grid testimonial, Control F, grid testimonial. So let's just copy these grid templates columns, Control C. Let me increase my microphone. Okay. So we say this. Then we would select create testimonial. See the actual style name. Control F, create testimonial section. All right. Testimonial. Then it's inside create testimonial. So now let's go back here so we know how we style it. Everything's inside the main. I'm going to say dot testimonial. Okay, we can just do it in one hand. So that's the benefit. So grid testimonial. Display grid, then we use this, we erase this, then put this. That's one of the powerful advantage of grid over flex. Isn't this nice? At one touch, we put the styling and everything looks well, everything looks good. By the way, we don't need any other additional touch here since everything is spanning width 100% here. It's going to take the available width in the layout. That's actually good. Then so don't be discuss this as a border radius, so that's why they are all same. So now let's move down to the bottom, the final part. So let's see what's going on in the final part. We say everything stacks on top of each other, so we can achieve that with our flex wrap also. So if I could record this is using flex container also. So let's go back here and say flex dot portfolio. Is it dot portfolio testimonial contacts bottom footer? So dot bottom underscore footer. And inside main, I need to say main dot bottom underscore footer. All right. So the idea there is to the way we structured our previous time. So we structured everything, we put everything inside main. All what we put inside main. So if you want to restyle it, so make sure you use this structure. Everything inside main. So I can just say dot bottom footer again. Dot bottom footer. Then I will say flex wrap. So let's do flex wrap. Should wrap. We want to make it stack on top of each other again. Oops, I think that works. Since we have nested flex, bottom links is also using display flex. I think there's still a lot of space for it, so we can just decrease this to boom. I think let's use this there. Yeah, let's use that there. So say bottom links also flex wrap should wrap. I'll say comma. Is it comma? I think they are both dot bottom links. Dot bottom links and let's see the class name. Bottom footer. Okay, bottom links is inside bottom footer, right? So what we do is when we select the bottom footer here, so you can say dots. Let's just do comma dot bottom links. We want to wrap both at one point. So now let's go back here and say, okay, it's not working. So due to the structure, expect that. So let's say Control X. Control X, then let's erase this. And bottom links, then flex wrap. Should wrap? Boom. See what's going on. Oh no, it's still not wrapping. So let's debug from here. Let's see the previous tiny. Those bottom links. links is on its own. As you can see, bottom footer is outside, bottom links is also outside. Bottom links. So let's bring this. Let's bring this out. So Control S. Not bottom links, then flex wrap should be wrap. It's not working. So who is? Oh, thank you. It's fine. Let's see it again. Bottom links. Let's override it here. Let's say flex wrap. So we have an issue as per the previous one in the selected work section. You can see here. So what we can do is let's use flex direction. Let's change the flex direction. Let's change the flex direction. The bottom links, I will say flex the direction. What should be column? All right, we have that. Have that. Have that. So I think that's is it following up with our design? That's okay. So let's see all these contents inside the socials. Are now moving to the left side. Line swap. Is also using display flex and use is it justify? Justifying content should start. Like starts. Without working. Okay, we're going to set it on the parents. Let's see. We only need it here. There are okay. Links wrap. Then you have LinkedIn online contents. Specify content, center online items. Retrieve flex stats. Flex stats. I'm thinking. So sorry for unmuting the mic. So I always unmute the mic when there's noise in my environment here. So what we do is okay. Let's study it. Let's study it. We have this flex, and we have the one on the top also flex. Why is it working on one and it's not working on the other? Okay. Okay. This is at the center. As you can see. So we made a kind of a mistake. So we made a mistake here.
by what? Storing our name, and we should always take care of that. So it's really very popular mistake. So when we are naming style, just avoid using same style name. Like we said, we use 1.2 shells, and the .2 shells is affecting, so it's affecting the one here. And we see it's affecting the one here. So what we can do is split the two shells here. So what we can do is to avoid messing around with our HTML. So we can do, as you can see, that's what it works. So what we can do is inside the main.two shells at the first main.two shells. So that's why we said we use utility name here. So inside the name main, control D. So I say .two shells. So you can do a pseudo selector saying .two shells. We can say first of type first. Sorry. So first of type, you can read on this pseudo selector. It helps a lot of times. So instead of having too much of class names, so we can use this is going to choose. It's going to select rather. It's going to select the show shells first of type. First of type. So it's going to affect. Let's see what's going. Show shells. Is that the two shells? Let's see. Okay, we're actually wrong. So the two shells first child. Why is the class not working here? The two shells, let's do int child. Let's say the first one. I think because we are nesting, pseudo class is not working. Pseudo class is not working because we are nesting. We are using CSS nesting. So what we can do is let's stick to the utility class names. So I will go back to my social. I name social hero. Social hero. So I'm saying main, then instead of giving social, I'll give social hero. That should work without any error. Now let's go back to the bottom. As you can see, we all have it nicely as we want. All right. So in our placeholder, I noticed something in our placeholder also. Let's increase the input placeholder font size. That's title px, that's 2rem. Let's look for variable of 2rem here. Section gap. Let's say inputs, the placeholder. And we say font size, space gap, section gap. Oh, that's too much. That's way too much. I say text transform. So we want to capitalize. Capitalize means first letter begins with capital letter. Okay. Okay, so now let's reduce the font size to, let's say 1 input, comma text area. So we want both font size 1 rem. That should be okay. I think that's okay. That looks nice. Exactly how we wanted. All right. So basically we are done. So let's see what's giving us trouble here. I can see the width is giving us trouble. Width of this image. So let's see what we can do with the width of the image. It's causing an overflow. Image about having display flex. Image about an img. Okay, we can set the width to 100%. As you can see, so at coding values. So that place we can set it to. Let's see how we can implement this. Or we should use our flex property of the parent say flex 1. Okay. All right. Let's just target the screen and give it a width of 100%. So when it is going too low, not screen, my helper screen helper is not showing up. It's not showing up at the top again. Okay, so what I can do is let me just use JavaScript, say window dot inner width. I have 500 px, 596 px. You can say when it is going 590, okay, 450, 470 px. So I will select image about, then image about. Not about, then you have image about, then image. So let's select another media query. So at media only screen. And max width. Max width, let's say 470 px. This is going to be hyphen rather. So I'm going to do dot about. As you can see, so you can change the width here to 100%. 100%. All right, let's see if that is working. See, it's not working, so let's go back there. Let's dot about, img about, then img. The width is, as you can see, it flags out the width, so it's going to be in a main container. So to avoid this, let me just give us a little to avoid this issue. So when you're practicing, you can just instead of nesting, you can just do it like the way normal CSS for professionally to make everything look structured as best. You should use nesting. So you know what content is inside one another, you know what's inside another one, you can just nest it. But when it comes to responsiveness, so that's where the edit is. So you have to understand how you structure it before. So for me, I used main as the top query selector. So that's why I have to override it like this to look. As you can see, the root is now working, as we can see. All right, guys, so we are done with our responsiveness on CSS. So give me a minute and let's move to the JavaScript side. So what JavaScript do we need here? And other content we are going to talk about. All right. So what are the things we need we require in our JavaScript side? What are we need? What are the things we need JavaScript for here? So
Oh, sorry, I was unmuted since. Sorry. So what I've said is we want to work on the responsiveness of the font sizes. So I can say body, this we use main, so we can change the variable here. Let's say this is now 3 rem. As you can see, it has decreased. It has decreased. So let's see. So I'm actually muted and I didn't know since. Let me dock this to okay, so let's see this 64px font showing here. So let's resize. Let's see the fonts now. As you can see, we have 48px fonts. See here the fonts. Let me just show us. As you can see, the fonts under that card, we have 48px internal from 68px. So I said that's one of the advantages of using variables, CSS variables. So let's say I have another font I want to reduce here also. It is too big. Do we have any? Let's say this is 24px. The design didn't reduce this. Okay, let's just keep it. So we are only focusing on that big hero section. So how I did it was that since I use this variable globally inside my main section here, I use font size should be var, and this is the root. So we use rem value, rem. So what rem does is the r inside there is root. So it's going to take 4rem based on what we've specified to the roots of this, which is main. So this text hero variable, is inside the main. And when my screen goes down, okay. So when my screen goes down, then I change the variable. I reduce the variable from text hero from 4rem to 3rem, as you can see here. So I just select the main, then I declare the variable again. So this is going to be 3rem now. All right. So with that, so we finish the first section on responsiveness. So in the next so just give me like 2 minutes break. So we will start the JavaScript side. 2 minutes. All right. So let's quickly implement what we need in JavaScript. So when we reach there, so when we click this, that thing should pop up. So now let's move to our index.js. Control index.js. Then don't forget we have something we are putting in display none. Let's see display block. As you can see, we have something here. Let's we forgot. All right. So we're going to use JavaScript to basically override this. So what we do is we select the hamburger icon. So let me just search for Hamburg. I think I named it btn. Okay, mobile click btn. All right. So now let's move to our JavaScript side. Control P, then JS, index.js. First thing is I'm going to declare some variables. Let's say JS, then comment. So I will declare some variables. Nice. Let me quickly check through the WhatsApp messages we have here.
So during the course of the recording, I see some students trying to follow up with this. So the link to this session will be uploaded to the portal, and we can all view on that. So I'm just using this to it's not compulsory to join. This is actually a live class, which you can just drop the YouTube link on the portal. So now let's move to what we have in the JavaScript. So I say constant, we declare a variable, mobile btn equals to documents dot query selector. So we talk about get element by ID, but here we specified class name. So we use class name for the HTML. So like I said, if you could recall the time, I said we can actually get elements in the DOM with class name also. So we'll be using that as a use case example here. We can use document.query selector, query selector, camel case. So selector, then in the brackets, then in a string, then the class name. Here you use, if it is an ID, you use hashtag, then the ID name. If it is a class, you use dot home. So this why query selector is quite powerful. You can select an ID, you can select a class name. So here we got this. Let's say mobile btn and mobile btn. So we can use we'll be using some JavaScript we haven't heard about. So we use mobile btn dot first. Let's do on click equals to, let's say, undo click. Is this on? Still. So let's declare function undo click. Let's do console.log. Console.log clicked. So let's see. When I click, I think there is an issue in our syntax. Okay. In click equals to function undo click. Maybe like this. Is it like this? So we're going to use event listener. This one to show us okay. Let's see if our element is being selected first. Oh, we didn't reference. I don't think we reference our JavaScript. Okay. We did same issue, we ran to same error in last time we were working on the CSS. So we can actually add our script tag to the first, to the head elements. In the example we've been doing, we always add our script tag to the bottom of the page. Well, yeah, I can show you how we can do it. In the head section, you add your script tag source / index.js. So why we put it at bottom actually is that when we load our page, we don't want the script to be loaded first. And if the script is loaded first, it's going to be an issue because we have in our script, we might have something we are getting in HTML like this. We are getting a mobile button, and for instance, the HTML is here to be rendered to the page, and when this code runs and try to select the HTML that is not being rendered on the page, so it leads to an error. So that's why we always put the script tag at the bottom of the body tag. But here we can use this. There is a tag and an attribute you can write here. So we can say source equals to this. We can write defer attribute. So the defer attribute tells the script to load when the HTML page is ready. Simple as that. So say Ctrl S. Ctrl S. So let's see. We've loaded the script, and I say, let's save again. Let's save. This is going to be function.
All right, as you can see, so this thing is clicking. So instead of putting on-click attributes into our HTML page, we can actually do it this way. When we click it, we want to run a function, right? And the function name is click. Then we can write our function here. We all know what function is. And another clicking function we will talk about is event listeners. Well, this is outside the scope of today's lesson because we don't have too much time. So once done with this, once we are done with the responsiveness and the deployments, so I will leave some tutorial and some material for us. So the material will guide us on what's next, what we need to learn next, and when we practice, we use the material, and we should be good to go. Should be good to go. But now, to avoid complexity of things, so everything is actually built on the basic. So when we know the basic, so furthermore won't be a problem for us. Furthermore won't be a problem. So now, what I'm trying to do is target when this element is clicked and want to do something. So what we want to do, we want to do some DOM manipulation. We talked about DOM manipulation in our previous classes. So let's select the actual DOM we want to manipulate. So which is what? Nav links. So we want to manipulate nav links. Nav links. Then I will say constant a sidebar equals to documents dot query selector. I'm using class name again. Then dot nav links. So I've gotten the HTML elements using the JavaScript. So I can try to manipulate it using dot style dot stuff we learn about. All right. All right. So what we do here is we click this and we say, so when we select this, we want to say a sidebar, we can say dot style dot display equals to none. But to do this professionally, assuming we want to add like 5 style to the HTML element. Assume that. So if you actually want to do that, so we can't be writing dot style dot style dot style dot style dot style. As we all know, there is always a solution for that. So I will say a sidebar, just follow up. It's quite easy. I will say dot class list dot add. I want to add this to the class list. I will say dot add show bar. So what this code is actually doing is it will add a class name. You know, I talked about utility class that you can add more than one class name to a HTML element. So this is going to add another class name to it. So let's see this. Enough of talks. Let's see what's going on in the web. Let's see what's going on in the web. So now let me click now. As you can see, I've clicked. Now let's go to nav links. We don't even know where nav links is, but we can even with display none, we can know where it is in our DOM. So header section, then nav links. Nav links, let's reload. Let's click. Do we notice something? Let me zoom this so we should see what's going on. As you can see here, by default, this div has class name of nav links. But when I click it, I said it will add show bar. Wonderful. So we have what we want now. It has added the show bar here, as you can see. So now let's do dot show bar. So we know the class name we are trying to do. You can just go back anywhere in our code and say, let's write dynamic styles. Dynamic styles and say dot show bar. It's going to take display of block. Let's see what's going on with this. Boom. Let's see that.
Boom, boom. So we notice that. So when we add the block display, it pulls out. It pulls out. But what we can do here is we all notice some some sites. Instead of pulling out like that, we want to add some animations that slides in. So we actually use a CSS property called transition. So you can read on transition property, CSS transition property. So what transition does is allows like a slow motion on an element. Let me use that like animation. So it animates the elements. It's transition. It slows in. So instead of the actual boom display, so it's going to slide in. And transition elements doesn't work on displays. So what we will do here is here. So for example now, so let's give it let's remove the display none. Let me comment it out. As you can see, is on the page. So instead of hiding it with display, we can use a property called transform. So we can transform it outside. We can say, let's say transform property. So it's that transform property. Transform, then in our own transform, we want to translate on x-axis. X-axis, we want to make it sliding. So we can say transform translate x-axis. Let's move it outside of the viewport. Let's say 100 VW. Is that actually moving outside? Let's say 10, 20. It's 100. 100. It moves out of the viewport. As you can see, we cannot see it. So since we can animate and transform, so we can, let's see how we can do this. So instead of using display none, we can use transform, translate on x-axis, let's say 100 viewport width. Not viewport width. So we know that's going on. And in our show bar, instead of saying display block, we can say transform, translate on x-axis 0. It shouldn't move anyway. So from translating to sorry, it's on x, I wrote y. From translating to non-translating, let's see. If I put this, as you can see, it comes out again. Okay. Okay, so what we can do here is what we can do here is to add transition here. So we say transition. So I can select the property I want to transition. Here I want to transition the transform property. Transform. I can add my time. So I can say you should wait, you should animate for 1 second. So yeah, let me make it fast. I can say 600 milliseconds. And here stands for the one last one, transition property. You can say is in and out. So it's called timing function. So this timing function is we have is out, we have is in. But here I used is in and out. So when I click it, boom, as you can see, how it moves out. So in 600, let's make it a little bit faster and say 300. And say 300. S2, that will be too fast. Let's do 1 second. 1 second. All right, so let me click it now. You can see, so that's too slow. So I'm going to reduce this to, let's say, 700 milliseconds.
So ease in out means it's going to ease in and out when it's coming in and when it's going out. And I can see that makes sense. That makes sense. Let me just reduce to like let's just stick to the 600. All right. So after that, so next thing is we know how we can call it. So how do we move it out? How do we move it out? So what we can do here is we can add an let's say an X element here. So when we click it, it's going to slide out again. All right. So let's do that. Let's do that. So that's going to give us, to achieve that, we're going to do some another manipulations. So let's go to our nav links. Nav underscore links. Nav links in on another list. We have something here. Nav links, another list. So let's say we have a div, let's say a close btn. We can add a div class equals to close slider. Close slider. So let's use our icon from font awesome. So I say close. So I need a close icon. Ah, is it close? It's X times. I need a times icon. Is it times or I don't need this? Let's see X. Yeah, I see what I'm looking for. Need this. That's too long. This is this. Click here. And just click here and say I, and I will paste it here. So by default, all I'm trying to do is I want to hide it by default. It's going to have let's see. Oh. Oh, if it's solid. Let's give them a class name close slider. Okay, let's see. Close button is under here. What is the nav links? Let's see what's going on. Okay, so let's do this. Let's see what's going on with this. I have it showing up. Yeah, do display of none. Display of none. Now you go here. How is it affecting? Okay, dot nav links. We put it here. Okay. So we hide it when we open the bar and we open it again. So I'm going to say, so here we are opening it. Oh, we are doing this in our media query. To X. I want to hide it by default. Main section, then close slider. Display none. All right, that shouldn't give us an issue. So then when we reach this, when we are calling our animation and all those stuff, so we want to say display block. Let's see. Let's override this with some stuff. So display block. So we say position absolute. Position absolute. Let's say top 0. As you can see, that's the little stuff here. So what we can do is we can say display block color white, then say position absolute. It's good. The way it's sticking to that top is moving, is going to, when you push position absolute, so it's going to take the position of the parent, which is nav links. It's going to position itself in relative to this nav links. That's why it stays at that top corner. So if I say top 0, it's staying at the top corner of the nav links. So I say top 0, you can say move away from the left, let's say 20 px. As you can see, so it's moving away from this black nav, not from the body, because it is in absolute position. It's going to move in relative with the what, with the nav links. So I will say top, I can say 30, moving from the top 30. So I can increase the font size here to font size on REM. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So we can see where is this. Just say top 30. Let's say top 10%. 10%, right? And let's increase the font size to let's say 1.6. You can see, so we have an X icon. You can only always click there. So let's do top of 5. Away from the top 0. Okay, let's do 10. Okay, moving from the top 10. Function is fixed there. So let's say do and we can do transform. Transform translates. We want to move it on the y-axis, move it from y, let's say 30 px. As you can see, so that looks good. So I just add our cursor, pointer cursor there. Make cursor to the pointer, and we can select what we want it to do here in our JavaScript. So let's go back to our JavaScript and say constant, then close btn equals to documents dot query selector, then slide and say close button dot on click, close button dot on click. As you can see, equals to function, let's say undo close, and we can say can copy this and remove the class name. And to see, to view the class list, instead of adding, we can do dots, remove. Can do remove. So now let's see what's going on in the browser. Perfect, it's perfect. So we have this, boom, then close. Nice. So we achieved that slider. So let's fill this on here. Boom. It's good. Let me decrease the weight to, let's say, 250 px. 250 px. So basically we achieved what we want. That thing is showing on desktop device. Dot close. Let's say close. Close slider. Display none. Let's see what's going on. Let's inspect. Then let's go there and let's see. Class mark check. Let's see the class names given there. You can see it's display inside nav links. It's not inside main. And it's styled inside main, so that's why it's giving us error. So I'm going to Control X. Nav links. Let me just put it outside. Nav links. Just put it, let me make it general. As you can see, so we have it do here again. So we do like this again, as you can see. So everything has been displayed here. Okay, let me go back to the meets. I'm staying in a call. I'm recording for my students. Okay. Now we have this going on. So what's next thing we need to do is since we've done basically what we need at the start. You know, like I said, we said we're going to add toggle functionality dark mode. But before we do that, we use this to introduce us to deployment, moving from local host to server, where you can share the link and anyone can access it. So and before that, I would like to introduce us to what is Git and GitHub. All right. I think we are all ready for that. Okay. So
During the course of writing codes locally, local host, this can't be shared to, let's say I want to share what I've done to my friend now. So I can share this to my friend because it's running on my local machine. And to run, to make it visible on the web, so we need to deploy it to somewhere on the cloud. We need to deploy it on the cloud. And let's just see what Git and GitHub is first. Okay. So theoretically, Git is a version control system that helps you track changes to your code or files over time. So let's say, imagine you are working on a project now and you make changes to your files within Git. You can change, you can save your change, you can see what changes you've made. You can go back to versions if something goes wrong. Let's say when I added this, something goes wrong, I can revert to back to another version. Yeah, another version of my code. So where everything is working perfect. All right. So now that's Git. So GitHub is a website that lets you store your Git projects online. So it's like a cloud storage for your code. So GitHub is like a cloud storage in which with GitHub you can share your code with others. And one of the most important thing about GitHub is you can collaborate. Me and let's say one of you over there, we can work together on this same code base. So it works for collaborative projects with team members. And it keeps our code safe and backed up. So assuming now I lost my system or something's wrong with my system, if I'm using Git, I can easily go back and pull my changes from GitHub, pull it to my new machine, new system. All right. So think of Git as a tool that helps you manage your code locally. So Git is something, GitHub is another thing. So Git helps you to manage or track. So let's use that word. It tracks your code locally, and GitHub is the platform that lets you share, collaborate on your code with others online. So I'll be talking about some key concepts in GitHub. So we have something called repository. Repository is a collection of files and folders that are tracked by Git. So we also have commits. So commit is like a snapshot of your changes made to your files. Push is for sending your local changes to your GitHub. Pull is for getting things from GitHub down to your local machine. What are the advantages of using Git and GitHub? Is a version control system that helps us track changes and collaborate with others. So it makes our code backed up. And with GitHub, we can share our code and learn from others online too. All right. So now, let's see Git and GitHub in action. So when I want you to follow me while I do this, so I'll go online now and I will search for I will say download. I say download Git Windows. Git Windows. Git on Windows. So I'm going to hit the first site. As you can see, Git for Windows. If you're having, most of us will be using 64-bit system. Okay, I can click on the 64-bit system. As you can see, it's downloading Git to my local machine. So let me just cancel this because it won't work on my system. Double click on it, open it, follow the steps, the prompt, you click yes, next, 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 till it finish the installation. So it's finished the installation. So if you run into any trouble, you can message me or you can search for it online. So after that is installed on your system, next thing is it will install an application called Git Bash. But what we can do is you will press your command button and type CMD. So CMD is the command line on Windows. I'm using Linux, so that's why it's bringing up terminal. See, don't be afraid of the terminal. So one thing you can do is let's say I'm on a new terminal now. Let me close this. I'll open my own terminal. So your own here will be git cmd command line. You can press cmd. So one thing you want to check if Git has been installed on your system. So you hit git hyphen double hyphen then version. As you can see, Git is installed on my own system with version 2.4.9.0. Congratulations, once you've seen this, you have successfully installed Git. So next thing is you do is use Git. So first thing, we are going to configure our details to our local machine. You use Git config global. Let's all do this. Don't be afraid of the terminal. Let's all do this. It's quite easy to do. User.name. You put your name, then you hit enter. So git config user.name. Let's say Ibrahim. Let me increase my terminal so we can see. So I can write my name and say git config user.name Ibrahim. Then I'll hit enter. And we've already done this before. So, and I say user.email. You write your email. So at gmail.com. At gmail.com. Hit enter. That's all what we need for now. So I'm going to clear my own terminal. So we have Git installed like that. All right. So now let's move to the concepts of GitHub. GitHub. So you head over to GitHub, github.com, over to github.com. Then you won't be saying this because this is my own. If I say github.com, what can I do? Let me open a Ctrl+Shift+N. Let me open a new browser, incognito browser. Okay, I can say github.com, sign up. As you can see, you create your free account on GitHub. You can see, so it shows this page. Let's say pt and input your email at gmail.com, your own email. Then I can input my password, username you want to be using, your country or region. Hit continue. And you can always finish up with this. You can always finish up with this. And once your account is fully created, you shouldn't be having any issue in creating an account. You can hit sign in. Sign in. So yeah, GitHub, on GitHub you use your email and your password. So your email and your password. So I can just put my email and my password here and sign in. So I assume we've all created accounts and we've all done this. And I will go back to, let me just close the browser. And I will go back to here. Then you click, let me go to my profile. This is one of the GitHub I've been using. I have one account. I think, yeah, this is one of my accounts. I have an account. To start working on a GitHub project, so there's something called repo. So it's something called repository. So repository is a file or a folder for your code. And when you're starting a new project that you want to push to GitHub, so you will create a repo for it, a repository. As you can see here, I have 55 repositories
or this repository, as you can see. So this is one of the repos. So this repo is actually for the portal we're using. So this is where the code is. So for example, here now I want to create a repo for our portfolio project. So I'll create new repository. I'll hit new. Create a new repository. Then I will go to repository name. So I will give it ICT5. You inspire, ICT5, you inspire, then ICT5 portfolio projects. Right, that's nice. So description, say this is the final portfolio project for you inspire ICT5 solutions. All right. So, and I want to make this public. So, because I'll be sharing the code with us, so it's going to be in a public repository, not private. Private is only I can access it. You can add a README file. Let me skip it for now. So we'll leave everything here and create new repository. Boom. So we have our repository created now. So we've created a repository now. But how do we push code from local to here? All right. So that's the next step. Next step here. So let me zoom in so we can see clearly. All right. So now we follow these steps written here. We follow the steps here. All right. So first thing, we are going back to our local machine. So I'm going to my VS Code. I'm going to my VS Code and I will open a terminal. And I will open a terminal and say, I can use my own terminal, or you can open a terminal directly on the VS Code. But let me show you something. This is my terminal. And I don't know how this will show up on your machine, on your Windows, right? So I can use some command to navigate to my folder directory by saying cd. cd is to navigate, is a command line interface code to navigate into a directory. Say cd, I named it ICT5. Well, let me first do dir. dir is what you can use to list all your folders in CMD. Or if you are using Git Bash, you should be able to use what I'm using in my Linux. So Git Bash is the application installed when you install Git on your Windows machine. So I can say ls to list out what's inside this directory. So I have everything here. So I can cd into my desktop. I can cd into in my cd desktop. Let me ls. I have list of folders. I can cd into ICT5 portfolio. ICT5 as well. I can tab autocomplete. So I'm inside here now. Or if you're having troubles navigating through here, so you can go to index.html and to open a terminal of VS Code. I think is something here. Is this? There's one icon here. Or let me press Ctrl T, Ctrl Shift T. I think I don't really use this terminal, so I can say Command palette Ctrl Shift P. No, let's do this. Okay, yeah, I think it's this toggle panel. This toggle panel you can put here with Ctrl J. So what the advantage of using this is automatically navigates to our current directory, which is what we want. That's really cool. Instead of navigating around with some CD on our terminal, and I assume all of us will want to do this, right? Right. So what first thing we need to do is since Git is installed on our system, we need to initialize this folder with Git. So we say Git init. And since we are in the folder, we can say init dot. That dot means inside this directory, we want to initialize a Git working directory. So I'm going to press enter. You can see initialize empty Git repository in what? In this folder. So now let's see what is going on in our folder. So you see, we have nothing going on. I can say this U extension JS could automatically add that because you notice this has been initialized with Git. So now let's follow the next step from GitHub. You can add a readme.md. You need to add. So since we don't have a readme, we are using, can just say git add. So we can add a folder or something, but in our case, we want to add everything in our folder. Add dots. So we've added everything to Git. It's not in our GitHub. We just added everything to Git. Next thing is to make a commit. What is a commit in GitHub? The commit is like a stage. So assuming I added a feature to my code now, so I can commit it. So I say, oh, I'm fine with this. I can commit it as this, like is like a version. It's like a version. Okay, this version is stable. I want to commit it. I want to add it to Git. So by adding it now, it is part of like a stage in my project workflow. Let's say first commit can be, okay, this commit is I added responsiveness. Another commit can be I added JavaScript, I added so. So when you reach some certain stages in your code, you can put your commit messages there. All right. So let's go. So in our case, let's do first commit also. So you go back to your terminal, your GitHub, and say git commit -m. You can say git commit m. I said first commit. So this m means the commit message. The commit will always have a message. So git commit -m. Then that's my first commit message. I'll hit enter. As you can see, it's added all this there. So let me follow the next step on GitHub. GitHub says git branch m main. So what are branches in GitHub? So branches is like let's say categories during the development of our code workflow. So the way it works is that when you have another, let's say, member working on code base, for example, we have two more person working in here. So what this main really means is that, so main will be the actual stable branch of our developments. So main is like, hey, this main is the stable branch. This is what we are deploying to make everybody, to make it visible. So that's like a stable version. So we can have different branches. So I will show you the steps you can use and how it really works. So having different branches means you don't want something to affect our main branch, because when we start deploying now, we'll be deploying through this branch. So anytime we hit any changes to this main branch, so it's going to redeploy in our live site. Assuming now one collaborator just worked here now and added something and commit to this main branch, and let's say it's a junior developer also. So that means it will affect what is in our live server, and we don't always want that. So that's what. So let's say that's what Git branching means. So the other developer can just switch its own branch to any branch name. I will show you how we can switch branch. Once it's switched to the branch, it can commit through that branch. So let's say a senior developer can just come and see the changes in the branches. And once the changes is stable, it's nice, and it has been tested, so there's something called merging. So we can just merge that branch to the main branch. So let's see, we see how it's very interesting. So let me just go through. Let's follow this. We said we say git branch -m main. So this main is the stable branch. Previously, GitHub used master branch. So recently they just switched to using main branch. As you can see, we switch to the main branch, no issue. Now we are going to run the third code here, which says git remote add origin. So we're adding origin, we are pushing to this what? To this GitHub. So it's definitely different in yours because you have a different GitHub account. So I'm going to say git remote. Then going back here, I will paste it here. Sorry, to paste. Let's copy it again. I can say paste, copy, then paste. And paste my code here. All right, let me remove the. So it will be git remote enter. So that goes fine. I say git push. Now this is where the action is. We want to push our first version of our app to GitHub. So we paste it here. Repository not found. Okay, I can say the origin is adding tilde. It says fatal git remote add origin exists when you try and push to the main repository is not found. So let's recheck. Let's recheck and say copy. Okay, remote origin does not exist. So let's see when we change the origin branch and let's see. Origin. Let's check the link. You see, is directing. Let me use this link. When I do git push, current branch has the option git push set upstream. So I'm going to use this command, say git push hyphen set upstream origin. Okay, let's search why is it showing. Let's see. Let me first remove this git rm. By the way, I think there's an error. Let me delete the group rm rf.git. Let me reinitialize the git. So I'm just deleting the git directory. So let's see git push. Let's see the error here, not the directory. So now let's revisit what we've done. Say git init dot. Okay. You can see. So now let's go back here and say git add dot, then git commit int branch. Let me use this git add git commit -m. post commit. All right, then git branch m main. Okay. M main. And I say git remote add origin. Control C. So git push fmu origin main. This is already working now. It's requesting for my passcode. All right. I think I have this one issue here. So you can input your password there. As you can see, everything is ready. So please give me some minutes. I'm coming back in 2 minutes. All right. Sorry for the delay. Okay, welcome back. Sorry, in the course of pushing to the GitHub, so in your case, when you do git push origin main, so you will see a prompt to input your GitHub password. I'm using token to authenticate, so that's why it's bringing that up. But in your own case, it will be clearly different. Just put git push origin main, so and you're going to see the pop-up to input your password. And if you have any issue doing that, you can always get back to me or search online. So it's part of software engineering. When you run into an error, search for it, how to do it, and you actually see a fix for that. So if I try and reload this now, boom, as you can see here now. So I have my all my code base. I have it in what on GitHub now. So I can access it, I can do some changes. And let's see what we can do with this. So yeah, let's say I changed something here now. So let's do an example of pushing and pulling and merging. So here now, as a junior developer, I won't be, this is just like a bonus. Okay, I won't be pushing to the main branch. So to create a branch, I will say git checkout -b. I can say this branch is, let's say this branch is for adding new feature. I can say feature branch. Feature branch. Branch is not a commit. Okay. Can just split it together now. I switch to a new branch, feature branch. So this is branch I'll be working on. So let's say now let's look for any error in our code, and let's try and do that. So for example, now let's say this view project, we want to make it a link. I can just go to the view project, instead of being a button. Say this view project should be a tag. Let me just select them. Boom. Inside this a tag, I can say href equals to, we don't know where this is going. Let's just say hashtag. It should always be here. Href equals to hashtag, then I'll say s. So the only thing changing there is the color is blue. I just go to the view project, and I change my color to base BG. As you can see, so we change this off. So that's base color. All right. So now, a junior developer, as we say, a junior developer as okay. I've seen where the error is. All right, it's this parenthesis. The junior developer have messed things up, but we have this working back. All right, so let's say now this is a feature learner. Now this is a feature. I changed this from being a button to a link. So let's do this now. So I can go back to my Control J to open up my terminal, and I say, okay, as a developer, I say git add dot. Don't forget, I've switched my branch with git checkout -b feature branch. I say git add dot. I say git commits, and my commit method is switch, and make your commit be a nice message. I say switch from I fixed view project button, view process project button to the actual link. Be an actual link. That's my commit message. See, then I will say git push. So it's saying I need to set some upstream for the branch. I say git push set upstream feature branch. As you can see, it's not more bringing main, it's bringing feature branch. I can copy and I will paste here. Boom. As you can see, everything is pushed. So now let's see where something is. If I go back to my GitHub, it automatically knows, as you can see, feature branch has pushed. Let's say now this feature branch is another person who actually is working on this project with us. So I can say compare and pull as another mate. Let's say in this case, another engineer, another senior engineer. So I'm going to review what this guy does, what he did rather. So change this button to linked. Yeah, that's all what he did. So here is my end. Sorry, here is my end. So on the feature branch, person that pushed the feature branch is going to create a pull request. So creating the pull request means we want to match this to the main branch. We want to make this available in the main branch. As you can see, I can review what the guy did, and I say, okay, I've seen what he did. I can match the pull request. I match it to the default main branch. Done. So I'll just go back here, and all the changes will now be here. Nice. So basically that was branches mean. That's what branches means. All right. So now we push it to Git. So now let's say I sent you the link for the project. So the link is here. Let's say I sent it to you. So how do you actually work on this? So to work on this, you are going to clone this repository to your own local machine. So let's say you don't have all this. I sent you to the link for the code. So what you're going to do on your local machine, you are going to click this code. Then you are going to copy this. As you can see, that's the code URL. Then on your local machine, let's say, let me say I'm inside another desktop. Let's say I'm inside documents. So I can clone the code base and open it on my local machine. I say Ctrl Shift. Okay, I'll say Git. Git is installed on my system. Clone. Then what? The link I want to clone. I'll click paste. Boom. Click clone. Boom. That's it. So all the code on the remote there will now be on my system like that. So if I send you the link and you want to check the code, that's how you will do it. That's how you clone it to your own local machine. And once I say that, I can open, let me just use our folder explorer. I did that in documents. As you can see, what's the name of the stuff? As you can see, I-Certify you inspire I-Certify project. So this is, you can see, so this is our code base. Simple as that. Right. So now, so that's how we actually clone, and that's a sneak out of Git and GitHub. We can always read further on it. So I can't teach everything. So I'm just trying to explain to my own capability, and you can go further a lot of materials on GitHub and all that. So now we'll be moving to deployment. How do we deploy this and make it visible on the web? All right. Well, before I move to that, we talked about GitHub like a platform where we can push our code. We have some platform other than GitHub. We have GitLab, we have Bitbucket, and we have all that. But the scope of our lesson will be on GitHub. All right. So let's move to how we can deploy. There are lots of sites we can deploy. We can deploy on Vercel, Netlify. You can use GitHub to deploy, but I will stick to using Netlify. That's for the base project we deploy with Netlify. So now, what is Netlify? So we start by creating an account again with Netlify. Say Netlify. So this is where we want to deploy our app, Netlify. So you can sign up with them if you don't have an account. So it's quite easy to sign up and all that. Easy to sign up. So you can say, me, I have an account with this. I say Netlify login. You can see. So I sign up with my GitHub. And just log in with my GitHub. You sign up with your mail, you can log in with your mail. It's basically simple to do. Just create an account and log in. So it has add all what I've done as is shown up here. So once you are here, once you've created an account, so first thing is you add a new project. But I'll be showing us two ways to deploy. So we can deploy directly from our GitHub. And that's actually very cool to do. It's a very cool feature. So if I push something to my branch, which is the main branch, so it automatically reads that something has been pushed to the main branch. and it automatically redeploy my site with the latest code base. But I will do two things. All right, so I can deploy manually or deploy so let me try and deploy manually for us that might be having issue with GitHub. So, and I will show you how to use GitHub too. All right, so I'm going to my documents, desktop. Zip. So this is expecting a zip folder. So we can actually zip this and send, but let's use to avoid all this mess. So let's just use GitHub. Let's use GitHub. I ensure all of us we should always know how to push to GitHub, right? So let's just use GitHub. So I click import an existing project. See, let's deploy your project with. I hit GitHub because I know I've posted on GitHub. I hit GitHub. So it might say you should sign in with your GitHub and all those stuff. So I'm going to authorize. This is just for security purpose. So it says authorized. And this has access to all what I've done. Boom. So I can just search for you inspire. As you can see, so these are our latest projects we deployed some minutes ago. I click yes. I click on the project's name. I can say you inspire portfolio. You can see you inspire portfolio. Then I certify solution. As you can see, it says which branch did I want to deploy. It has the feature branch because we created a feature branch, and it also has the main branch. So I can hit the main branch, and okay, I will leave that empty. I will leave all those empty because we are deploying a basic HTML CSS file. All right, so and I will say project name is available. So deploy, I'll hit deploy. As you can see, our project deploy in progress. It's deploying from GitHub. So let's wait. Let's wait for some time till it's finished deploying. All right, so let's wait till it finished deploying. Let me go back. Deploy is in progress. And track the deploy. See, this is the logs of the deployment. This is actually a good sign. It says in progress. Wow. Let's wait. Oh, since it's finished, so once it's done, it's going to give us a link. So what is this link? So this is the domain name. Just if you inspire portfolio inspiresolution.com, it will add the .netlify.app because we hosted with Netlify, and we can, if you want this to be .com site, so we can actually buy a domain name. So once we buy a domain name, we just map it to it. But for now, since we are deploying, we want everything free since it's just a test project. So
So what we have now is this uinspire portfolio solution.com. So I can just open the link and let's see if it is working. This is one of the joy of developer now. So we actually built something from scratch and now it is live where everyone can see. You can see everyone can see this. It is now live. So we started from localhost to deploying live. I'm going to share this link from of the site to us and the source code. And we all know once we build something, so it's not the end of it. So, and I want us to do this to our own. All these links, social links, everything should always open on a new tab and goes to our social links. So this can be X, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and works about everything. So we should always update it. Then on our resume, we can make this a link also. So once you click it, it's going to your, maybe you've posted your CV, you've posted it in a Google Drive, link. So you can just add it in and it redirects to the Google Drive link. All right. So like I said, every journey has an end, and this is going to be the end, not the end. So it's a journey. So, and I expect us to strive to learn more. In fact, it's actually a great thing uinspire has done for us. So I think we learn lots on, and through the process we build something, we deploy, and we make it live. So if you are here at this stage, so you should give yourself a congrats. So you made it to the end. So you can always add features to it. For example, now this kind of links going to home page works about. So since our page is a single page and we have the section of all those stuff, I can show you how we can do that. So let's say at the top here, we have home. So the links that go to works, where is it? The links that goes to the works section. Let's also search for works. So to navigate to the work section, you can say link href equals to hashtag works. So this hashtag here now is going to hashtag works, and the section we want it to go to. Actually, this is from the bottom navigation. So let's say from here we want to go to works. You can say hashtag works. Then in the first section, you can give where we want it to slide to. It will slide to that section. So let's see the selected work section, city section. So I think this is for the selected works. So this section, I'm going to give it an ID of what works. I'm going to give it an ID. All right, so this is going to the works section. So if I Control S now, go back here, it's that's our live site. Sorry, we're working locally. I'm going back here. Then I click works. As you can see, it slides to the work section. But hey, we don't want it to just go like that. So we want a smoothness. So we can go back to our body. And add something like so in our HTML. This is actually the HTML tag. HTML, we can say there's a property called scroll behavior. We want it to be smooth. Scroll behavior to be smooth. Let's go back here.
home, as you can see at its slide. So we can repeat this for selected works. Then about section. So about section also. Where is the about? That's the about me. You can give the about an ID also. About section class equals to about. You can say ID equals to what? About. ID equals to about. So, and we are going back here and say in my about, then I say href equals to hashtag. You give it an ID, then you reference it to hashtag about. So it's going to class section. If I hit about again, as you can see, it went to the about section. So you can repeat the process for all these bottom ones too. I want us to do that on ourselves. So and it gives us like a practice experience. View projects, we are done with that. And if time permits, we'll work on the dark mode functionality. But for now, let's just wrap it up because we don't have much of time left for this. And if time permits, I could record another section and do the implementation there. But I want us to have a link first. So what I expected from us now is to have a link for this, and it is deployed. So you can just send me the link and I can review it and see what you've done. Okay. All right. So we have this. Then what else? The about works. Then what else do I need? Okay, the links. I said you should make it links to the actual section you want it to go. Then this should be a cursor pointer here also. All right. So now we made changes now. So let's see how we can redeploy the change. So I will go back to my section. Well, for example, now, so let's say I'm in the main branch. So I just use, let me just check out to main. Okay, let me first say git add dots and git commit m added smooth scroll to actual section links. You can now say git push. Let's see. As you can see, we have this on our browser. So let's see something now. You know, in our deployed sites, we don't have the functionality. So that's why I said, as we deployed with Git, instead of using file, because if you use file, you zip it, you make changes. It's actually very weird. You just need to be re-uploading files. That's why it's good to use GitHub. So it calls continuous integration and continuous deployment. I think CICD. Yeah. So anytime you make changes, you can also redeploy on Netlify with all this target the main. You know, I've pushed it now. So assuming I'm on the main branch locally, everything is going to redeploy and going to work now. But since I committed to the feature branch, so if I go to the feature branch here now, feature branch, then I say contribute, I'll open the pull request. As you can see, I open the pull request for what I've done. Let's say someone from a colleague from this class also made the changes here. As you can see. So you notice something here that Netlify is trying to see if what we are trying to merge, if there's an error. As you can see, it's passed all the deployment preview. You can say merge, and I expect this not to cause any error in deployment. Netlify marks it as passed preview. If I click on my page again, so I even received a mail from Netlify that, hey, something has been redeployed. Now, let me go back here. Let me first go back to, as you can see, this, and I will click deploys. As you can see, deployed in 5 seconds to 2:29 p.m. As you can see that production main. So it has received something from the main branch and it has what deployed. So now let's reload this and let's see if the changes is now here. As you can see, if I click works, boom. This is the live site. If I click about, boom, it goes to the about page. So basically, that's how it works, and that's how the deployment works for deploying from GitHub. So that's why I said it's necessary for us to know how to deploy from GitHub. All right. So what's next after all this? So what next is just try as much as possible and join all these communities, GitHub campus communities. I said GitHub campus, this Google developer communities. So if you want to move forward in the career, so you can just join some communities in I think there is a lot of communities in school like good developer groups, not small. So you can attend some, just do practice and make connection and move with people who are actually doing it. So for latest updates and guidance of what next in your career. Then after that, you do lots of practice too, lots of practice, because we've learned something, but we still need more. We still need more to learn. All right. Okay. So one more thing before I quit, like you see, all these sites have these icons at the top, like GitHub. This also have an icon. So they are called favicon. Favicon. So they are called favicon. So let me just show you how we can do this before I wrap up our class. Let me just go back to our design and let's see what we can use. Do we have an icon we can use? Our designer didn't give us an icon, but let's use any icon. Let's use any icon. But what I can do is I don't have any icon currently. So what I can do is I can just use, let's say, from one image. So let's say if you have your own image, so you can put it. I will just use the image of the guy in the about, which is image 2. No, image.png. So I'll use this guy. So to add that thing to our site, let me first move from this feature branch and check out to original branch. I say git check out to main, which is the default branch. And now we check out to main, but main doesn't have latest changes from what our git, right? So we just say git pull. So this is going to pull the latest changes. As you can see, it has added all our changes from the remote down here. This HTML scroll behavior, everything has been added. So we pulled the latest changes from GitHub, then down to our local. So that's what is called pulling. So we pull it down to our local. So let's say I want to add a feature. So it's called favicon. That icon I showed you here on almost every site is called favicon. Favicon. So like this git, this one, calling this icon, this deploy icon, this git icon. So let's add it to our own too. I can just say it's a favicon, right? So to do a favicon, you use link, then the rel attributes. Rel attributes is going to be icon. Then the href is going to be where the icon is. I can say / images / image.png. That's the name, and I hit Ctrl+S. When I hit Ctrl+S, so when I reload my site, as you can see, the image of the guy is there. Nice. The image of the guy is there. All right. So now I'm with this. You can use your image. So I just use this for the class purpose, for testing purpose. So now let's push our latest changes to the remote GitHub. So say git add dot, then git commit. Commit message is what's added a favicon. I say git push, then I push those to my main branch. Then I go back to my main branch on GitHub. If I reload, as you can see, I see something saying now. So this has started. So since we are pushing directly to the main branch now, so let's just check. As you can see this now, it's automatically. As you can see, starting up. So it's starting to deploy since we push another change. Let's reload. Let's reload. It's still starting up. So let me click it. Let's see the progress. It's skipped, complete. So let's go back to our deploys. Published. Let's reload the link. Let's reload the link. Boom. As you can see, we now have the favicon. Nice. So now, so basically that's how everything works. We pull, we push. As you can see, another scope, another aspect is writing code. Another one is collaboration, deploying to the cloud. And the joy of a developer is to see what's written locally, see it live where you can share with friends to review and all those stuff. Let's test if our responsiveness is working here. You can see everything is slick. Boom. Responsive sites that looks visually appealing on what mobile and desktop. Boom. By the way, this thing is too big. Oh, you notice that it's too big. Let me change to a smaller screen. Like iPhone X. Okay. Oh, it's too big, so let's reduce the size. So that's a bug in our code. We call it a bug. So let's search for where it is. Transition. So the width is 350. It's too much. 250 px. Let's go to our local. Let's see. Change it to 250. This makes sense. 250 fits everything. 8x. So now let's redeploy again. We've made a change. As you can see, it's quite easy. Then push to GitHub, then everything starts to redeploy. Say git add dots git commit m. Say reduced sidebar with git push. You can see this is now pushing to Git. Then I will go back to my browser. This has pushed to Git. So let's check here. As you can see, something is processed again. Boom, this deployed in 4 seconds. Wow, that's blazing fast. As you can see, the commit message reduced sidebar with so fast. If you reload and see how it looks like on the iPhone X. As you can see now, we have this nice and stable. All right. With that, I will end this call. So I'll end this call for today. And I think with this, we can move on in our career. So the only thing we need is now is the basics. And here we've taught the basics. And once we understand the basics, we can move on to more advanced concepts. All right. So thank you, Unilearning and You Inspire platform. All right. That's it. So that's the end of the web development bootcamp. So thank you guys for coming in, for responding, for your assessments, responding, the practical assessments, all that. So it's actually inspiring. All right. So my name is Ibrahim, and let me just say a little things. If you want to follow up, my account. So you can actually DM. You have my WhatsApp number is on the group. All right. So if you have any issue, maybe due to what we've learned, you will run into any issue. You can always come to my DM. So you can drop it for me, and I will surely reply to you. All right, so I'm going to end the call now. Let me stop the stream, then end the call. Stop streaming. Right. Thank you, everyone.